What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Connie G Show. My name is Conrad, and how are you, buddy? Thank you for tuning in here on YouTube, on Con Radio's YouTube page. And thank you so much, for the last time I was on YouTube, on Con Radio's YouTube page, I got 8 views. So, yeah, I want to thank you guys for those views. I'm on Podbean, too, doing it live, just seeing if it would work, but I have a poor connection. So, like I said a moment ago, we only had 8 people watching the last show. So, if you guys want me to have like a better connection out here in the shed, I'm going to have to get about 1,000, maybe even 1,000,000 more listeners. So, we'll work on that together. That's something we can do together. Just a couple waterheads doing it. If you like the Connie G Show, you can also find just the Connie G Show on, wherever you buy this kind of garbage. It's free. It's also on Patreon, on Con Radio's Patreon. That's also free there. So, just get over there. Just get over there to Patreon and do it that way. There's a lot of ways to listen. Just, ask Siri or ask Alexa, hey, I want to listen to the Connie G Show. And then, go from there. So today is the 6th of December. It's Tuesday. Usually I'm doing this on a Wednesday night or a Thursday night. So I felt like I'd get it out of the way because I don't know what's coming down the pike or the pipe, depending on how you say that. I think it's pike, but the funniest thing about coming down a pipe one time was when my friend and partner Shannon was cleaning out a pipe, and my other friend went up and took a dump in the pipe that he was cleaning out. So as he was down in a hole, it was coming down the pipe. So that's another, I guess you could say it that way, is what I'm saying. So anyways, I'm getting it out of the way early, or getting to do it early, or whatever, because illness has struck Oklahoma. A lot of people with the weather and the seasonal changes, and for whatever reason, there's illness down here, and everybody's getting it. And my daughter kind of started the illness train. She had a good cough going, and then all of a sudden, fever hits, and can I sleep in your guys' bed? And fever, not going to school. And then Mamo takes care of her that first day, and then all of a sudden that night comes in, and Mom's like, I'm not feeling good either. It's like, yeah, I know. It's only a matter of time before you get hit with the old sick stick. So that stick smacked her upside the head pretty good. So she was down last night, and then today I didn't even know what to do. I mean, I walked into the bedroom where what usually is my beautiful princess laying there, and for a moment it's like, did I marry Ron Jeremy? What the heck, because she was 50 shades of skin, and she was ashy and gray and looked nasty and like wheezing. You know how people get that phlegm caught in their throat and just wheezing. And I was like, oh my gosh. This is a woman just mere days ago. I was so excited to kiss. And that's what love is, dude. That's what love is the fact that I can see her like that and understand it's not a choice, it's a sickness that got her. She's not choosing to be like this. Although it's still hard for somebody that's autistic like me to understand that. But what that meant for me was I had to kind of slip on my Michael Keaton pants, my frickin' Mr. Mom pants, and try to help out because my wife was unable to move. Now, luckily, I only had to deal with Jonah because my daughter was still sick, and so I just left the sick people behind. You know what I mean? There was no man left behind, but there was definitely 2 women left behind. And the thing is, I heard Neil deGrasse Tyson on an interview very recently um, say that cannibals, which are people who eat other people, that cannibals used to refer to humans as long pigs. And I don't enjoy much of what Neil deGrasse Tyson has to say, um, but I did enjoy long pig to describe a human. And so I'm still on that. This is me giving him credit or giving the cannibals credit, whichever. And so I told my son, we're leaving the long pigs and we're going to your appointment. And he had physical therapy because a few months ago, he got walloped in the head pretty good and has, we're on that long road to recovery on that kind of thing. And he's, he's been pretty good since it, in the sense of compared to most other 10-year-olds, he's ahead of the curve. But it's also like there's just some balance things and some weird things that you just want to work on. And it's not like, why not? Why wouldn't we be working on this? Like sometimes people are like, are you still dealing with that? It's like, yeah, it's my kid's brain, man. And, at this moment, it's uncontaminated. You know, he's 10. So all of the junk that over the next 8 years and once he's out on his own, all of that junk that you guys will be putting into his head, um, he doesn't have it yet. So I'm trying to make sure it's as sharp as it can be when it leaves my guidance. And then, once it's out there, I'm hoping that it does its own thing. I hope it was raised right. So we got to take his head every once in a while to physical therapy and to different doctors that just check up on you. And my wife usually does that. So I slipped on my Michael Keaton mom pants and, grabbed my favorite son and I said, let's get in the truck, let's go. And we headed off towards Shawnee, Oklahoma, to where the physical therapy place is. And I think the appointment was at 8:30 or something. So we get out of here 7:45 or so. Head up there, and I tried to even prepare. I was up at about 6:45, and then I told Jonah, I was like, "Let's go see if your mom's alive." And so we went in there and poked her with the stick, and the wheezing stopped for a moment, but then continued. And we're like, "Okay, good." And let's go see if your sister's alive, and found her tucked in some nook on the bed, and shook the nook, and she said she was fine. So, all right, we're good. We're leaving. We're going to physical therapy. But before we do, I'm gonna go jump in the shower. And I did one of those morning showers. I love these. I turn the lights off in the morning. It's opposite. Sometimes I'll do cold showers, and that's fine. That wakes you up and all that stuff, and it's probably better for you. I mean, lots of doctors and well, lots of weirdos say it's better for you. But some of those weirdos usually got a point. And not today though. I was like, I've been freezing on the couch all night. I have like one child's blanket that's out there, and I get it. I'm half the man I used to be, like the song by CCR says. But I still require like a larger blanket to stay warm throughout the evening hours in Oklahoma. But so I was like, I'm gonna get in a warm shower this morning, turn the lights off, just and I sit down because usually, and I made some coffee. But that's your morning time. That's your morning. Get all the bad out before you go out into the world, so you don't have to put this kind of energy into the world. And what I mean is dump. Just purge. um, just got to get it out of there. And I sat down on the old squatty potty, and it's just my body clock, all those rhythms, those circadian rhythms or whatever. That fecal time bomb was not ready to go off, and I hate wasting a good shower with a clean whistle, but I went ahead and got in the shower, and sometimes I describe my shower. I have different ways of showering. There's the turtle phase where kind of like the world's beating down on you and you basically just get into the fetal position on the floor of a shower and let the water just just pound into your almost defeated body. That can be a good shower. Not usually energizing, but kind of puts you in your place. Um, and lately, I've been working on a different one called the Grand Canyon style. Grand Canyon style showering is this. It's standing with very hot water, and I usually don't like it. Some people like it a little hotter than I do, but I even went to that level, the real hot level, and back yourself up to where the spout or the spigot, whatever that's called, the shower head, the spigot, um, is just right there, as close as it can be to your body. And if you're a taller fella, good for you. It's even closer. But if you're vertically inadequate like me, you get as close to where you're getting about a foot of hang time between the water and your shoulder blades. And then you find that spot right there in the middle of your neck where all of your brain nerve endings meet your spine nerve endings, and like that's where the magic's happening. That's where Stephen Hawking got his rhythms all messed up. You get a little notch in some of that spinal cord issue. It doesn't matter how good that brain is, that body's not following. And so I like to go Grand Canyon style and just let that water pound into that spot right there where your brain stem and your spinal cord. And when I say this, guys, I'm assuming I know what I'm talking about. I mean, if you're a doctor listening, number one, you're lying. There's no doctors that are listening. And number two, you're not going to change my mind. I feel it's the best spot to do Grand Canyon style in the shower. And what I mean by Grand Canyon is once you get that spot, then you don't move. You let that water just hit it, and you just kind of sit there and think, and you let the water clean what it wants to on your body, is what I'm saying. Just like the Grand Canyon. There's not like some architect that was like, you know what, I think a little valley should be right there. No, dude, that's all water. That's God. That's God just spurting water with Colorado River and whatever else. I'm pretty sure that's just it. But as that river just rushes and rushes, it beats those rocks into a certain formation. And that's how I like to shower. It's like I let Jizo take the wheel sometimes. And I say, you wash me like you want me to be washed. And I'll stand here for about 15 minutes. And so that's what I did this morning. So, I didn't get my morning constitution, but I went ahead and took a shower anyways, which is a risk. And so when I got out of the shower, grabbed a cup of coffee, also a bad move, and got into the Gold Thunder, and it looks like I missed Mike and Pat. Oh. I don't know what that's about. Anyways, I got into Gold Thunder, and we headed towards Shawnee. And Jonah, he's happy because normally this is not that he's not happy when my wife takes him to this, but it's just different. It's out of the ordinary. And so he's all excited, and we played a little bit of Call of Duty the night before, and so he was talking trash on my gameplay, and and I was just letting him, and he's talking about we'll play this evening and what he's going to do and the different aspects of that game that he wants to explore. And I was like, all right, man, that sounds good. And we started kind of planning the day, and he's just getting excited. Well, we get up to Shawnee, and we go to the physical therapy place. We walk in the door. We're right on time, perfect. And we entered great. Like, people looked at us like we knew what we were doing. Like, we're in the right place, of course. And here's the thing. I've only been to physical therapy twice, I think, personally for myself. One time was after a knee surgery. I think you were supposed to go multiple times, but I think I just went the one time. They made me ride a stationary bike, and I was like, this is ridiculous. We don't have to pay for this anymore. Just give me what do you want me to do? And then, anyways, probably a bad decision. But I didn't have real great parents, and they're like, well, if you think you're fine, then you're fine. It's like, oh, all right. um, and then the other time I went when I had a back injury, and they were trying to figure out what was wrong. And that time it was a man, a real thick man with like furry hands. You've ever seen those guys that got hair on their knuckles? If you got hair on your knuckles, don't work in a field where don't work in a profession. You should be in a field, but don't work in a profession where your hands are, oftentimes interacting with another human's body, because most humans don't want to have a furry hand on them. So, anyways, so I got him to massage me, and that was my last time at physical therapy. So I basically, my recollection of it is a bunch of old people that are trying to maintain some semblance of motor some semblance of I don't know, mobility, some semblance of mobility. That's the word I was looking for. It's out there. I just had to, cast a big net to find it, but I got it. I've done this before. And so that's what you see at physical therapy. Furry hand men, and elderlies looking to walk better. Well, sometimes though you'll see that attractive women will be involved in this field, this profession. One of the oldest professions in the book. And when we walk in, it was confusing. It was like, ooh, where are we at? Oh, yeah, we're in Shawnee. This makes sense a little bit. Because there was a very pleasant young lady that was checking people in. But I would say, she was very pleasant. Her attitude. She had a great attitude. And I like that, and we'll get along just fine. But I don't think that she's probably not, she doesn't get very many, I don't know. She's great, though. Great lady. And so I said, okay, here, this is good. We sit down, and I'm trying to coordinate a few different things with accountants and screen printing. I'm like, I'm going to utilize this time where my kid goes and puts lasers on his head and tries to keep the laser steady as he does these activities for physical therapy, for concussion protocol. I'm going to try to make the best of it myself. I'm going to be responsible here and shoot off some emails and try to figure some stuff out, Maybe apply for a credit card, I don't know. See where the morning takes me. And so I'm sitting there, and then it's like the physical therapist comes out on the dot, like at 8:30. She hears us early, doesn't come out because, of course, you got to, like, it's again a persona thing. She comes out. She's struck by my handsomeness, I'm sure, because usually it's my wife there, a competitor for her, a beautiful woman. But now there's this gentle, just cleaned man sitting in her waiting room with his adorable son. And I could tell in her face that she was like, of all the days I didn't put makeup on, I didn't today. When this, mixture between Russell Crowe and whoever walks in, right? So I don't pay any attention. I just say, hey, how you doing? We're here. We're ready. So she calls, but what she does first, this is something that attractive women will do. She hovers over there by the receptionist lady, who's a little bit less attractive. She does a hover move to try to, like, draw focus, like, really? I'm better looking than, like, it's almost just to remind me, oh, there's a hierarchy in here, and you're okay looking because you're better, and you stood next to her so I could see that. That's fine. And she goes and they start their activities. And there's also like a younger, um, more made up version of physical therapist that's like wandering around just moving different items that you balance on into place. But they all have the physical therapy pants on and the physical therapy smock on, and so they look professional. And I'm doing my thing. I don't care. They can, you know, I'm fine. I don't I don't worry about it. But at the same time, there was another call of duty that was happening inside of me because I'd missed my window of opportunity at home, and now I'm at the physical therapy place and I start getting the gurgles, the you know, the goibles, whatever that Nazi guy's name was. I started getting those in my tummy. And one thing you don't want to do is give the power back. No. Well, you just don't want to, in public, when there's three ladies in a lobby, you don't want to be the one gentleman that walks in and's like, hey, guys, I'm going to go ruin your day, by going into this restroom. I'm about to ruin your day. You thought you're having a good day, handsome guy, cute kid walk in, all that's great. But then that handsome guy walked in there, ruined your day. And I didn't want to do that to them, so I did the responsible thing again, being an adult. I held back. I held it back quite a bit, and it was difficult. I'd say that I don't know how difficult physical therapy was for my son, but it was very difficult for me today. And so after we left, I said, well, what we're going to do is we're going to run over there to Whataburger, and I'll get you a breakfast burrito, buddy. And, I got to use the restroom. And so he's excited because now we're going to Whataburger. He's like, what? We're going to Whataburger? Cool. And so we walk in. He's like, what are you doing? I was like, I got to run in the restroom real quick. And he's just chattering away. And I don't tell him what's happening, but he's in the middle of a sentence about the video game, and then all of a sudden, I'm in the stall, and I just, it sounds like Normandy in there. It sounds like, he's like, what are you doing? I was like, I told you I had to use the restroom, man. And then now he's laughing and, making fun of me, and it's like, dude, just chill out. I don't want to, just don't make a scene about this, man. Because I don't like doing that, and I don't like doing it at a Whataburger ever. But you get done, wash your hands, and then walk out, and it's like, yeah, we're here for our order, breakfast burrito, and they're like, everybody knows. Everybody knows. Because when you walk into a place and immediately walk to the bathroom, that means you're crapping up a bathroom, okay? If you walk up and order and then use the restroom, it's 50-50. It's a 50-50. But I've worked in retail before. I worked in retail for 3 years, and every time somebody asked where the restroom was, I immediately turned to my partner there and said, this guy's crapping up our restroom. It didn't matter if he wasn't. It didn't matter. That assumption was already there. And so I know when I walked in, they're like, he's crapping it up. And they were right, and I was. And so it's embarrassing. But I got the breakfast burrito, and we walked out to the truck, and, he was unfazed by it, kept his appetite. And we headed back and dropped him off at school. Did that whole shenanigans. Went and met up with Shannon at the shop. Tried to get a few things done before I had to go again because I had to pick my son up from school, and so you only get a couple hours there of working before you have to get back. And so went and got Jonah, and then we played a little bit of a video. Oh no, I went on a run. Then we played a little bit of a video game and made dinner. Then I dropped him off at wrestling practice, and then I'm gonna do this and go get him. So that's the plan, at least, and maybe play a little bit more. But I wanted to get this show done because when a sickness like this goes around, usually I'm fine. I can be fine for a while, but my body, what it will do is it will block out what takes down most normals. You know what I mean? What most normies, because it's just immune to a lot of those illnesses because I live my life sanitarily reckless. And so I've built up certain systems within my body that can fight off most viral or bacterial infections because they're already in me. You know what I mean? It's like when a virus shows up inside me, thinking, "Uh-oh, here's a healthy host. Let's go in here and attack this system." When they get there, there's more virus in there than they get there like, "Holy crap, this guy's riddled with virus." You know, and my virus and me are like, "We're here, man. We're ready to," they got hairy knuckles, dude. They're ready to fight anything. But every once in a while, like a super virus or something will come in me, and it just knocks me out too. So I'm not looking forward to that possibly happening. I mean, I try to think positive. Sometimes I think you can think your way out of a sickness. So that's what I've been doing. Just stay positive, drink water, eat a banana, have an extra potato, and just kind of get that starch in there, get those viruses in your body filled with starch so they can have enough strength to fight off the bad guy that's coming, the boogeyman, the boogie virus. And so we'll see. And if not, if I don't catch it, then I'll just do another show. I don't care. I like doing it. So just in case, though, now we have this one. We'll just have another one there in the studio. So it's kind of nice. I did have some notes for we're not just going to talk about today. Looks like Shannon's texted me. Wife's dead. Daughter on the mend. And Jonah unfazed by the crud so far. So I guess I could have just told you guys that and not went through the whole thing. The point is, you gotta be careful when you're pooping at a Whataburger. And by careful, I mean don't do it if you can, by any means necessary. Just try not to do that. So last night I was sorry. I was enjoying another evening of bachelorhood, basically. Once the sickness bullet put my wife down, and my kid down, they're passed out in the marital bed, and so Jonah, I put him down, and I just sit there on the couch. I'm laying there on the couch. I got my acupuncture mat. I'm laying there. It's like Monday Night Football's on with my two favorite waterheads, Peyton and Eli. I think for as big as Peyton's forehead is, Eli's a little bit more waterheady, but I kind of identify with Eli a little bit more. I think he's got some autism, and we're very similar in our, like if I was sitting in that booth, and Peyton was talking to me, I feel like a lot of the things that Eli says is what I would say. Not everything, but a lot of them. And so I enjoy watching those two idiots watch football. And it's even funner because they're watching Tampa Bay play a divisional game against the Saints. And Tampa Bay, Tom Brady, and Tom Brady and Peyton were such rivals for so many years that it's kind of fun to watch Peyton have to be like, man, this guy's still playing. You know what I mean? You can kind of tell it kind of bothers him because there's still clearly a competitive spirit within the Manning boys, and so to watch Tom Brady still be getting it done out there it's got to make you feel like, man, I'm one of the greatest ever, but I'm still not. And even on that night, Tom Brady was going to break another Manning record of fourth quarter comebacks or something. So, and I think he did. So, anyways, I'm watching that, but on commercials, those two idiots go away so we can see the commercial, and so I turn the channel. I flip around a little bit. And so I'm flipping around, and I stumbled upon a different sporting event that, I realized was out there, but you just don't think about it. It's such a fringe thing that you don't think about it. But when I click down a couple notches on my TV remote from the Manning cast, I see the Pro Pulling League. That's what it's called, the Pro Pulling League. And this is a league of gentlemen, I assume, primarily, who spend hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, engineering and designing automotive contraptions that are powerful enough to strap gigantic weights to the back of them, and then they go to these stadiums filled with other, like, future pullers or, wannabe pullers or fans of pulling. And these guys rev up their machines and then green light, and they stomp on the gas, and they try to pull an immovable object, basically, as far as they can pull it before either their truck blows up or they reach the end of the track, and then it's timed. How fast did you pull the immovable object? And somebody wins. Like, I know what you're thinking. What happens in the end? I guess someone wins. I don't know what you win. Whiplash, I guess. That's a win if you didn't get it. But you're thinking, like, these got to be thousands of horsepowers. They're just louder than heck. They're sitting there. Even through the TV, it's like you turn it down and you're trying to hear the announcers because you want to hear what Ricky Job and Billy Jones and all these different people's names, RJ, there's old RJ McCullough, he's coming out here, and there's old, Rick Johnson, he's been pulling for 22 years, he's been a pro puller. I wonder what Rick's got up his sleeve. It's like, probably nothing, probably beef jerky, probably. If I'm going to guess what any of these gentlemen have up their sleeves, it's going to be Copenhagen and beef jerky. That's what's going on at a pro puller sleeve. And so you can barely hear the announcers. And would it be better if it was Peyton and Eli? Yes. Put the Manning cast on Pro Pulling League. Now you're talking. Now that's fun. And so, but the damn vehicles are so loud. It's like, and I put myself, like, when I see that, it's like, oh my gosh, it reminds me that we're all so in our own world. We're in so many different bubbles. We're in so many different bubbles. Just like if you're an American, you're in a bubble. If you're a Midwesterner, you're in a bubble, but you're also within the American bubble. If you're white, you're in a bubble. If you're Catholic, you're in a bubble. And you just keep adding bubbles. And ultimately, you get down to, like, just your bubble. Like, what do you actually like doing, But you had to be within those other levels of bubbles. And you don't realize that somebody could be in an American bubble. So they're in the same basic bubble as you, the same first layer. But while you're sitting around worried about, is the bathroom that you just built ADA compliant? And are the people that are going to be utilizing it who have handicaps going to enjoy the facilities and be a comfortable experience for them, and is there anything else you can do? You then turn on ESPN4 and realize, you know, RJ McCullough, his bubble is my 7,000 horsepower Dodge Dakota going to be able to pull this brick, this 10 million pound brick faster than John Johnson's, and Tommy Thompson's? That's what he's thinking about. And like, he has fights about it. Just like I have fights with mine. I fight with my partner. Like, I don't think that we should have done this differently, and you get stressed out about it, and he's like, who cares, And he's right. RJ McCullough was going to come to the bathroom and not care, but I care, But then you watch this and you go, what are you caring about, Because this person, like, one of the carburetors probably didn't come one time. You know what I mean? He probably has 7 carburetors, probably got 7 engines on this puller, and one of the carburetors that he ordered because he has a pulling event the next day didn't show up. And so he comes home, he's like, did I get a box today? And his wife's like, no. I mean, we got a box of macaroni right here if you want to heat it up, And he's like, no, I'm talking about a box. I ordered a carburetor. Oh, for what? Your puller? You still don't got a carburetor on that, RJ? Get your carburetor on there and get out there and make some money. You spent about $200,000, of all your oil money. All your oil money's on that puller. And what are you gonna win? What is winner purse? And he's like, it's $600, but we split it between the top 3. Well, you better win more than that, and you better get that carburetor fixed. It's like, I'm just asking if it's on. Did we get the carburetor today? Is what I'm asking you. And that's just his life. Goes to church. They ask him about his pulling. You know what I mean? He goes to Sonic. People are like, oh, that's the puller guy, And that's his life. And I was living my life unaware that his whole world even existed. And that's just one tiny version. I mean, you go on the billiards circuit, and you go on and pickleball. I watched pickleball the other night, and I was watching it, and they were talking about these fellas like I was supposed to know who they were. I'm like, why would I know a pickleballer? A professional pickleballer. Why would I know that? And then I come to find out, when I clicked back, it was professional golfers that were playing in this tournament. And that's why the announcers were acting like I should know the names. And I was like, I don't know Jordan Spieth. Like, what? How long has he been pickleballing? Should I know this? And apparently he's not been. It was like a charity event. And so I should have known him for golf, I guess. But another thing I don't know. I know some of the names. John Daly. That's about it. Tiger Woods. John Daly and Tiger Woods. Like, if people said, hey, what's your dream golf team? John Daly and Tiger Woods. And Payne Stewart, but he's got COVID and died on a plane crash. So, anyways, it's just odd to me that, it's a weird thing to think about, but just step outside, just one layer out of your tiny bubble, and just explore somebody else's. Like, what does this person got going on? And, it makes you think about, because everybody's got their own deal going on. It just makes you think like, puts you in your place almost. Maybe keeps you humble, or realizing just keep going, just keep trying, because you're sitting here thinking you're on a razor's edge or something, and you're not. You're fine. Just keep going, and it'll work out if you keep trying, that kind of thing. And so, you just got to peek into somebody else's bubble, I guess. And Pro Puller League is a great bubble to poke your head into. I mean, it kind of reminded me of when I used to hang out with the flat trackers. I used to be a flathead, not a rascal flathead, but a flathead, and hang out with my buddy at flat track racing, and that's a whole different crew. You know what I mean? Like, you go to school all week, you learn about you learn your literary courses and your mathematics and your history courses, and you think we're all in this together. Like, that's what my job was this week, was to go to school. I'm in 8th grade. I'm going to school, and that's my friend. His name's Jared, and he's going to school with me. But you don't realize that Jared's head, he was thinking, Friday, I'm going to be flat tracking. I didn't think about flat tracking all week. All he said was, you want to come to my race on Friday? I said, sure, man. Whatever. I didn't know what it meant. And I load up into their van and, head out, and it's like, what do you guys want some snacks? And it's like a whole different world. It's like, what do you mean snacks? We're riding. What do you mean? You find something in the seat cushion or something? Because when my parents took me and my siblings places, there wasn't snacks. You know what I mean? It was like all of the times that we'd went to the grocery store and started opening stuff on the way home, and any of those items that fell into the seat became future snacks, future trip snacks. So, like, if we're driving on a road trip for a couple hours and we're like, Mom, we're hungry, she'd be like, well, reach in the seat. See if you find one of them old pretzels you guys spilt everywhere. We'd always find something. But I got in Jared's, is like, want some snacks? And they open up a glove box filled with all the ding-dongs and yoo-hoos and all the stuff. And it's like, yeah, this is awesome, dude. This is what you do on Fridays? He's like, I'll eat a snack anytime, dude. He didn't even care about what day it was. I'll eat a snack on a Tuesday. I don't care. Jeez, man, that's awesome. He's like, I'll have a microwave burrito. There's a microwave in this van. I was like, what are you? When he told me there's a microwave in a van, that's when I realized I could be single forever. I didn't want to be. I very much enjoy having a wife and a family, and I'm independently dependent. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need the support, but I also like to act like I don't need it. All that kind of thing. Probably a trip to a psychiatrist or two would probably do me good to help with some of that dependency issues and stuff. But I'm aware that I got some sickness in there. But when you are in 8th grade and somebody's like, dog, Chevy made this 10 years ago. It's like, Chevy made what? They put a damn microwave in a van. It's like, what? It's like, yeah, dude. This is a house now. You can eat. You can be entertained in here. Listen to the radio. Watch this small Zenith black and white TV. Cook yourself a frozen burrito in the microwave. What more do you need? And in my head, I was like, nothing. I really need nothing more. And it kept me rooted and grounded, I think, throughout the rest of my life, knowing that no matter how bad things get, I always keep enough cash on me to be able to buy one of those vans that have a microwave in them. And everybody else can say, this is no way to live. And I would say, looks like I'm living. Looks like I'm living, though, buddy. So maybe it is a way to live. Maybe it's the best way. Maybe it's my way. I haven't had to do that yet, but the fantasy's still there. And that's why when you see those stories like that one girl that got in the van trip with that boy, and then that boy did that thing, it's like, you ruined van life, man. It's horrible enough that you did that to that girl and, killed her and stuff, but what's even worse is you killed a whole society of van livers who now think that whatever that Gabby girl, if you say you want to live in a van, they're like, yeah, you want to murder a girl, don't you? No, dude. No. No, I don't. I just want to live in a van and eat microwave burritos. But we get to the flat track full on snacks, and everybody's talking to Jared, and everybody knows his family, and they're all this community of people that are just flat track racers, meaning what flat track racing is, you take a motorcycle, you weld the suspension so there is none, you put the biggest, Harley Davidson motor or whatever motor you can soup up onto it, and you put some frickin' former meth addict on it, and you say, there is no brake, just balls to the wall, and they just go as fast as they can, and they somehow are able to tilt the bike and slide it sideways around the curves, and it's just a full-on, there's no brake. There's no braking within the race. And it's crazy, and people die, and people get wrecked. Nobody hears about it. Nobody cares, because they're the fringe of society. They're in the fringe bubbles. But it was eye-opening to be like, this is a person's life. This is a person's existence is what's going on here, and this is very strange that they're simultaneously existing with, and not even like they're friends of mine. I went to school with this kid for 4 years before I went to a race. I had no idea that this whole side of his life existed. And so you got to realize that, like, you're just wrapped in your own bubble and everybody else is wrapped in theirs. So just poke your head inside somebody's bubble every now and then and be like, "Oh my gosh, you got a lot to worry about," in a different way. Sometimes I feel like, I'm the only one worrying about things, but I'm just worrying about my stupid things. I'm not worried about, is my puller ready? Is my flat tracker ready? Is my microwave burrito done? I'm not worried about those things. There's just a lot of long pigs out there, guys, and they all have their own life, and they're all valuable. So, another thing that I was, that I noticed that I was flipping around when I was watching the ball game last night, Monday Night Football, and I don't care who wins, and I don't particularly enjoy Tom Brady, and I don't have any feelings towards the New Orleans Saints, and so, but it was it was fine. One thing I've been noticing about pro football that I had never really thought about before was, I guess for a long time when you're watching it on TV, you sit there and think, how did that guy not see that receiver was open? How did that quarterback miss the open receiver? But what you realize is they're not even playing the game that you're seeing as you're watching TV, because it's happening so fast in real time to them. I mean, you're talking about snapping the ball probably every 15 seconds on average, maybe even quicker, that they're snapping this ball, and they're reading the beginnings of a defense as they're walking to the line. Both the receiver and the quarterback are reading, and the linemen, they're all reading their little jobs and their little cues of what to do. And then they've made their decision on the zone that they're going to be attacking based on what the defense was doing. And so when you're watching it at home, you're like, Jesus Christ, Tom Brady did it. You see that guy was open right there? And Tom doesn't even care. He doesn't even care if he throws an interception. He doesn't care if what he cares about is his pre-planning orchestra operating the way it's supposed to be operating, and if not, what do we need to adjust? And it has nothing to do with their capabilities. It's all because they're all the most physically gifted men and well-trained men available. It's all just about this preparedness of what the defense is going to do, and then you run a play, you're throwing to a spot, your receiver's not even there when you throw it. I mean, they're so fast that you have to just throw it in a zone, and you're hoping that you predicted correctly that the defense is going to move in a certain way and that your receiver's going to be in a certain place at a certain time. That's all it is. It's all this weird orchestra that's so different in real life than what it is when you're watching it. But you can almost, like, it just made more sense when I was watching the other night, because when Tom Brady was on the sidelines, I actually felt like this was watching the Colts, a little bit of the Colts, and Matt Ryan is their quarterback, and he just threw an interception, and he walked off, and all he's doing is reading this big pamphlet of basically second-by-second pictures of what happened. And he's like flipping through them and being like, oh, right there, that's where it happened. And I don't know what he's seeing, but he just knows that I have to fix this one thing. It has nothing to do. He doesn't care they threw an interception. He doesn't care. It has nothing to do. He doesn't care what the defense is doing, because it doesn't change anything. He's just got to go perform his job the best that he can do, regardless of the score. So it's very strange. But when I was bored of overthinking that too much, I was flipping around, and there was a station called MTV. And it was playing a show called Ridiculousness, which I skipped right over because I don't need to watch some billionaire make crappy jokes at stupid internet videos. If I wanted to make crappy jokes at internet videos, I'd do a podcast where that's what I did. So I don't need to see that. So I skipped to the next MTV, MTV2, where 90s House of Pop was on. Yeah, I clicked it. What's going on 90s House of Pop? And it's music videos, baby. And the first one, was Ace of Base. Ace of Base was on. I saw a sign, and it opened up my eyes. I saw a sign, which I think is like predicting COVID or something. If you watch the video now, it's real trippy. So, turned it off, went back to the Eli Manning and the Peyton Manning show. And then, next commercial break, I go back down there. Recently watched, MTV 90s House of Pop. That was me. I was recently watching that. Click it, boom, I'm in. And that's when I had a discovery. Because when Rick Astley's on, and that famous meme is actually happening for you in real time on this MTV show. And so he's singing, "Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down." He's doing that dance that everybody is saying, and I don't even know if that's a song. But he's doing that dance, the Rick Astley dance, that is made famous by meme. Meme after meme uses it. But what's even more concerning is if you watch the video, there's no way that that's Rick Astley singing the song. I mean, he isn't singing it in the video anyways. No, they were always lip syncing during a music video shoot. But what I'm saying is, when Rick Astley, that version of Rick Astley, went to the studio to sing that song, he didn't go. Rick Astley is a fabrication. Rick Astley is the guy you see. He's like the Joe Exotic. I mean, he's Joe Exotic. Somebody else is singing. I saw tigers. You know, somebody else is singing. Joe is who is portraying the singing, but it's not real. And Rick Astley, he did that to us long ago. Maybe that's common knowledge, but you're watching, you're like, sometimes a voice doesn't fit a face or a body. That's jarring at times, but you sit there and you imagine what the person looks like over and over again for years, and then you see him, you're like, that makes sense. Like Larry King, you knew that was Larry King. Hey, Larry King. Show that boy. And then you see him in his suspenders, you're like, that makes perfect sense. That is exactly what I was picturing with that voice. With Rick Astley, there's no way. There's no way a voice like that can come out of a body like that. I'm not even saying it's a good voice. I'm just saying it doesn't match. And so that's all a sham. It's all was, some sort of test that was ran on us many years ago, whenever that was released. It was a test to see if we'd fall for it. And I think we did. I think we did fall for it. So, that just kept going, and that test led to another test, and then ultimately got to the final test, or one of the later tests, of COVID and what we basically got rickrolled. COVID was an ultimate rickrolling, maybe. Some would say. I'm not definitive on anything. And I told you guys at the beginning of the show, I don't know where the brainstem is. I just assume it's right there at the top of your spine and beneath your brain. And I don't want to find out, because I'd hate for somebody to say, I told you exactly where the brainstem was, and you still. That's why I don't want to know, dude, because it's information that I don't ever plan on karate chopping somebody in the brainstem. I don't want that. Like, even if that's my only option. When somebody's like, the only way you're going to get out of here, Conrad, is if you hit that guy perfectly in the brainstem. And I'd be like, uh-oh, I should have took the advice and looked where that is. But in a way, I'd be like, I'm glad I'm dying here. I'm glad I'm dying not knowing where the brainstem is. I don't know. So when I say that COVID was the ultimate rickroll, I don't know anything, is basically what that goes down to. Or I know everything. So, anyways, there was a couple other things I don't really want to get into that. That's not a good note. I talked to you guys a little bit about that. That was last week. Yeah, I did watch. It was on. We didn't really watch it. I was painting a couple doors yesterday at the shop, and the Drew Barrymore show was on. And I think a lot of the people that genuinely enjoy Drew Barrymore in that program, a lot of those people have been karate chopped in the brainstem. Um, it is incredible that that exists on daytime television. It's incredible that audience participates in that. And it's just really incredible that somebody would agree to go on it. And all of those things are happening on a daily basis for Drew Barrymore. And it makes you wonder. Gosh, it makes you wonder. I mean, that's to me. There's no difference between the Pro Pulling League and Drew Barrymore. It is the same. There's a different demographic that's genuinely enjoying those two different programs, but if you're genuinely enjoying pickleball or pro pulling or NFL or the Drew Barrymore show, if you're so invested in any of those, to the point where you genuinely care about the outcome of the program, you got brainstem damage, is what I would say. You've been karate chopped in the brainstem. So, you watch it, and she was just, it's a holiday season, dude, and so she had people sharing their stories of doing good, and she called it, Drew Gooders. And these Drew Gooders are out there. She's almost 50, or maybe older than 50, and she said that. Somebody pitched that to her. Let's call them Drew Gooders, and she's like, "That's cute, and I like it. Let me go put on my biggest David Byrne suit, and we'll do it live." That's craziness, but it's out there, guys, and people love it, and that's why, like I said, dude, that's why I got 8 people that watched my last episode here on Con Radio on YouTube. We're all in this in a bunch of the same bubbles, but I done bubbled out. I'm not in a lot of bubbles anymore. I've narrowed my bubble down, and I'm sorry. I wish I didn't, but I think there's a lot of you guys like me that are floating around in a really tiny bubble going, what the hell is going on in these other bubbles? And I hope that you guys are, if you do find this and you're like, yeah, I feel the same way. Like the whole world, the whole America world at least, maybe, what are they, westernized civilization. They done lost their damn marbles, and their bubbles are crazy. And so maybe just tell people, hey, I found this idiot in Oklahoma who broadcasts on about 1/10 of an acre outside of Prague, in a tiny shed with no heating, and he's a funny guy, and he's got a little bubble too, and you just share the show. If you want to do drug to watch the show, you can buy drug from me. It's on Diamond CBD. Just go to thewaterhead.com, click the Diamond CBD, and buy yourself some drug. Okay, it'll help you get through it. And it's CBD-style drug, so all the good stuff. And if you want to support the show, feel free to go to Patreon, Con Radio. It's the home of the Connie G Show. It's also the home of those guys from Wichita and some other projects that we got going on. And so consider it. I think we got like 2 patrons right now, so that's pretty good. And if you like this show, you'll like the OK Taco Show. It also has its own page and its own stuff. So go to OK Taco Show if you want to hear more from me with my cousin Shannon, dude. And we're trying to build a taco empire in central Oklahoma. So check it out over there. And so I got to get out of here. But with that being said, be good to yourself. Have an okay day. And don't let your meat loaf body